Hello everybody and welcome to Inspirational Thursday, live from the store. So I was having internet issues at my house. Unfortunately it's still down, so no cable, no internet. Wish my mother luck with Conrad, and I'm still here to do some creating with you guys. So I will be playing around with the Distress watercolor pencils this evening. And I'm not fully sure what we're going to be doing, but we're going to have some fun and try some different things. So it should be really cool. Before we get started, I will say if you see anything you like in tonight's video, feel free to shop online. Go to classac.ca, click shop, Inspirational Thursday, and then you'll see a video. I think it's called like Distress Watercolor with me or something like that. But yeah, it should be really fun. And please make note, I did not bring my heat gun with me because I was in such a rush to get here. So yeah, we're just gonna wing it. It's gonna be fun. So before we hop right into things, these are my set of Distress watercolor pencils. I've been dying to use them. I've had them for like 6 months, haven't touched them, but I've been dying to use them. So I thought tonight's video would be a really good opportunity. I happen to have, this is Distress watercolor pencil set 2. There are 3 different sets, and I thought set 2 has all kinds of pretty colors. So this one is the one that I gravitated to, but after playing with them briefly before everything went into nonsense, I definitely want more of these. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled for them. We don't have any in stock, but we do have some on order, so they should be coming in maybe on the weekend if we're lucky, or for sure sometime next week. So don't be discouraged. I did list them on the website, but yeah. Hi Linda, hi Kim, hi Patricia. Hello everyone. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I was just explaining I'm here at the store because of internet issues. We are with Rogers, and sometimes they like to not work properly, but that's okay. We're gonna improvise. So I did briefly have a chance to do a little bit of research on these guys, and there are quite a few different ways to use your Distress watercolor pencils. Unfortunately, I did not come prepared, so I'm working with Neenah cardstock. Hi, Sandra. Neenah cardstock, and it should be okay. Would have been better if I had my heat gun so I could kind of dry it up if I needed to, but that's okay. Improvising. Hi, Kim. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I have a cup of water here, and one of the easiest ways to use these guys is to take the pencil and dip it into water to activate it. These pencils are really cool. So this band here is made of sort of like a plasticky material, so it's going to resist water, and then the pencil itself is like, it's hard to describe. It's almost like a cross between a pastel and a pencil crayon, sort of, if that makes sense, but it's pretty cool. So I dip it in water just to activate it, and then you can color directly onto your page like that, and you can get some really cool sort of effects going. La la la. So yeah, that is one of the easiest ways to use it. And I mean, you could use this to do like really funky borders. I might use another color just to jazz this border up. So I'm gonna go back in with some pink, dip it in the water, and color it straight onto the page. Actually, I can do that with all of them, just so you guys can get a sense of all the pretty colors that are in this set. There's the pink, the red. This one is called Spiced Marmalade. And these are all colors that Tim Holtz has in his oxides as well, which is kind of neat. So yeah, it's just as simple as activating it in water. But with the Distress watercolor pencils, I find you do get a little bit more control than you would typically with watercoloring. Yeah, they're like adult crayons, Richard. They're so fun. So yeah, you get a little bit more control when it comes down to it. If you were coloring with these versus your traditional watercolor paint, you can kind of control where you want to put it and whatnot. So it's pretty fun and easy to work with. And I'll get to some better examples of more control shortly. But there's yellow. I'm running out of room on here. This one is cracked pistachio. Activate it a little bit more. There we go. So yeah, it's really fun just to kind of color. You can definitely make cool backgrounds. You can do all kinds of things. You can blend these really nicely. Add some green. This is called Twisted Citron. It's like that bright green color. Mermaid Lagoon is this one. So yeah, it's a really fun product. So that's one way to use it. It's just wetting the pencil itself, dipping it into water and coloring the sections of your paper that you want to color. And it looks pretty cool. I'll do one more color, this is called Iced Spruce. Sort of like a nice dark bluey gray color. And yeah, then if you want to get really funky, you can spritz them to kind of blend the colors even more. You can use a watercolor brush. There's all kinds of stuff to do with these guys. And you guys have to bear with me because I'm filming at the store, so the desk is pretty tall. I wonder how closely they match the ink pads there, Kim. I assume pretty well. So I'm just going to spritz it too, just to like blend the colors a little bit more. And there we have a sort of rainbow background, if you will, but it is what it is. It's just one way to kind of play around with these. So I'm going to set this off to the side. Another really fun way to use these, I guess similar method, but slightly different. I'm just going to make a little border down here at the bottom. So all you have to do is just sort of color directly onto your paper. Doesn't have to be perfect. I find that's kind of the beauty of these as well. And the beauty of watercolor painting in general is it's not usually perfect. But I'm going to go in with a couple colors. Some Ice Spruce. I don't know why I dabbed that, but you can do this wet or dry. If you go in dry, you get a lot of control. Here's one that I haven't gotten wet yet. This one is the Prize Ribbon. So yeah, just gonna color like a nice little band here. And then I'm gonna go in with my mini mister and I'm just gonna spritz it to get everything activated. And I'm just gonna kind of let the color shift around on my paper and see what happens. Now, if I had my heat gun here and I liked how it turned out in between spritzing and whatnot, I would definitely kind of heat it up to set the colors, stop them from shifting. And then if I'm not happy with the way it's blending, I'm just gonna take my brush and sort of blend them out a little bit more. And you can end up with some really funky little effects. So that's just kind of a cool, quick little border here. And then could you imagine if you had like a cute little stamped image? Here's one that I did earlier, but a cute little stamped image. You could put a sentiment at the top and just kind of jazz it up that way. But yeah, quick and easy. So I'm going to set this off to the side as well. That's another really fun and easy way to use these guys. So lots of possibilities. I actually saw a video from Vicky Booten, and she used her texture paste, and she mixed shavings of these guys into the texture paste, and she came up with like her own unique colors of texture paste, which was really, really cool. And she used like shimmer pastes and all kinds of stuff. So there's a lot of possibilities with these guys. Another really cool way of using these I saw is with just the shavings. So you'll have to bear with me. The only pencil sharpener I could find at my house was this one. All my stuff is everywhere. But all I'm going to do is pick a couple of colors, and I'm going to sharpen my pencils, dry off my workspace, aka the front desk. Hi, Glynis! And we're going to see what happens with these. So I'm just going to get some shavings. Now, people actually do like to save these, oh goodness, as well, which is totally cool. It's my first time kind of breaking into these, so I don't have any shavings stashed away. But that is the Twisted Citron. I think that's going to look pretty cool. This one here is the Antique Linen. Get a little bit more of this color because I love it. And then we'll do some Vintage Photo. And I'm just going to sort of spread my shavings out here on the paper. And voila. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Distress sprayer. I really kind of want to make sure I spread these out. Break them up a little bit here on the paper. And I'm attempting to make a really cool background. Fingers crossed that this works. So yeah, just going to spritz directly onto my paper. I'm using a lot of water just to get things activated. And you can kind of see the colors are starting to shift and whatnot already. And then if I move things around, that's kind of distributing a little bit more color. And then I can always go in if I'm not happy with my watercolor brush and kind of move my shavings around that way as well. And sort of blend everything. Yeah, this is like a nice earthy sort of background. And then I can mist to my heart's content again, just in, I mean, it's all about kind of experimenting with these at this point. I'm new to them, and they're a lot of fun. So yeah, just like that, I have created this sort of earthy colored background. And then once it dries, it's gonna look really, really cool. And again, picture, if you will, I don't know, a cute little stamp, a nice sentiment, a really pretty die, like a thank you or something on top, and voila, that was quick and easy and painless. And then if I'm not happy, I can mist it a little bit more and shift some colors. But yeah, there's another way to sort of create with shavings. I don't have any texture paste with me tonight, unfortunately, or I would happily sort of demonstrate how it works with that. But what I do have next is, let's see. For my next trick, okay, this is a cool one. Make some room here. So another really cool thing I saw is you can apply, move these, you can apply the Distress watercolor pens. Richard, I don't have my stuff with me. You can apply them directly to stamps themselves, and then you can stamp out your images. And I thought that was really cool, so I wanted to give that a try. So here I am using this beautiful stamp from Stampendous. We have it here at the store as well. It is called Cling Sketchy Blooms, and I just think it's absolutely gorgeous. And what better stamp than a water, I don't know, it's like, reminds me of watercolor. Like, it's very sketchy and kind of cool and perfect. So I thought this would be a fun one to play around with. And I think for this one, I'm going to use some blues, because why not? So here I'm going to use prize ribbon, and I'm just dipping it, show it on camera, dipping it directly into the water, and then coloring it directly onto my stamp. Now, I will say, there was a disclaimer in one of the videos I watched. It may discolor your stamps, but it won't ruin them. So if you're like me and you just kind of want to have fun and experiment, then pick a stamp that, you know, is not your favorite, and play with it, because why not? And then in the video I watched, the lady who was doing this, she mentioned that if she stamps each color sort of as she goes, she finds she gets the best, most vibrant results. Okay, so far that looks pretty covered. So I'm gonna do sort of my blue first, and then I'm gonna go back in with my green and stamp that and see what we come up with. Now this technique is best used with a stamping apparatus. So here I have the Hampton Art Stamp Perfect stamp positioning tool. And yeah, let's just see. Okay, that's not bad. And then alternatively, if you kind of take your time coloring everything, you can activate it again with water and you get sort of a cool image as well. So now I'm gonna go in with some green, and I'm just gonna add some green to the leaves. And then I'm gonna go back and stamp these as well and kind of hope for the best. I mean, you're not gonna get a perfect result every time when you're new to it, but I'm sure with practice, this would look really amazing. Hello, Bev. Thank you for your little sticker and for joining me. You guys are the best. All right. I need one of those stamp smearing tool things. Okay. So this is what we're working with so far. It's okay. I don't mind it. I think I want to try adding a bit more green to the leaves. Let's see if that makes any difference. Okay. Not really, but that's okay. You kind of get the idea of the stamp anyway, which is pretty funky. And then, I don't have another sheet of paper. I only cut just enough to do my demos, but I'm gonna flip this over and we'll try misting this stamp and see what this turns out like. I have a feeling it's gonna be pretty similar, but YOLO. All right. Ooh, that's kind of funky. So there we have a very watercolored floral image. And then I'm gonna set this off to the side. Go back to our original here. And then what you can do after you kind of stamp your image is you can take your watercolor brush. I'm just gonna try to rinse off some color here. And you can go in and reactivate it just with water. And you can color in your stamped image just like that, which is kind of cool. I have a little bit of red left on here from earlier. I did a test run because I couldn't believe if this would actually work, but it does, and it's pretty cool. So yeah, it's that simple. And I'm just gonna color this whole flower in with my brush because it doesn't take long. But it's pretty neat how this kind of stamps and colors itself. And to me, this just screams watercolor. And this is one of the reasons I chose this stamp, because I just think it's amazing. Go in a little bit more. And the reason I'm dipping my brush in the water is because I'm afraid I'm gonna run out of water in my brush. So, and I need the water in my brush for my next trick. So yeah, isn't that cool? So just like that, I have stamped and colored my image. I'm gonna use a little bit more, try to carry some blue over here. Keep your fingers crossed for me. See if I can do it. Okay, do not fret if it's not turning out exactly the way you want it. I'm just gonna add a little bit of color myself by hand. And then same thing for the leaves. I'm just gonna kind of give them a quick movement with my watercolor brush. And there, that is so pretty. It looks prettier in person. I kind of see the streaks on camera, but it's not bad for like one of my first attempts. And again, if you're not happy, go back in with like your color and kind of fix it up that way. Yeah, I can improve this, but I'll do it after. So yeah, that's cool. And then sort of the reverse technique is also really, really pretty. This one got a little smeary because that's just on straight printer paper, but you get the idea. Hi, Carol. Okie dokie. So here's the same stamped image again, but this time I'm just going to use my pencils and I'm going to color the image directly. And then I'm going to go back in with my brush and sort of blend it all out and make it look really, really cool. So this technique is amazing in terms of control, because with traditional watercoloring, you're sort of at the mercy of your brush, whereas with the pencil crayons or the Distress watercolor pencils, you can really kind of control what you want to color and where you want to color and what parts you want darker and what parts you want lighter and all that fun stuff. So that yellow color there was my fossilized amber. This one here is some spiced marmalade, and I'm just going to add some sort of shadows in with the marmalade. And I find it's a really quick and easy way to color because it doesn't have to be perfect when you're coloring, because the water sort of does the hard part for you, if you will. So for these guys, I'm thinking maybe like a nice soft pink would be kind of pretty. So again, it's not going to be a perfect coloring job, but you do get a sense of how easy this actually is. And then I'm going to sort of add some shadows, so color some parts darker, because why not? Cool, cool, cool. I'm thinking maybe some pistachio for this flower might be pretty. So this is cracked pistachio, and same thing, I'm just gonna kind of lightly color my flower. And the cool thing about these too is you can build up in layers. So you color, you know, one layer, and then if you're like, oh, I think it needs more, you kind of dry it. If I had my heat gun, it would be great, but disclaimer, I left it at home. You dry it in between layers, and then you can go back and add more highlights and shadows, and I guess shadows is the way to refer to it, because you're kind of building colors. And then for this flower here, I'm thinking maybe like a nice mermaid lagoon, because it's such a pretty color. There we go. And you can see, like, my coloring is not perfect by any means, but wait until I show you the magic. The magic happens when I activate it all with water. So this is probably the most similar to like traditional watercoloring, or coloring with pencil crayons, because you're literally just coloring the areas you want beforehand, and then you're activating it with water, and then you end up with some really cool stuff at the end, which is fun. And I feel like I'm also going to tie in a little bit of cracked pistachio, because this is just a bit too blue for my taste. So I'm going to blend these two colors here. And that's going to be kind of cool. Sorry if I'm shaking the camera. All right. And my apologies if I'm missing comments, guys. It's a short person and a tall desk and a taller camera position. But yeah, that's kind of cool. And then I feel like I want to also add some purple into these flowers. I'm just gonna scribble because this stamp is pretty cool. And then some green for my leaves. Because you need greenery. So again, this is the Twisted Citron. I'm kind of limited to the colors I have in this palette, but after playing with these, I definitely want to collect all 3 sets because they're really, really fun. And I'm gonna go in with some iced spruce, I think, to sort of darken some of my leaves as well, because it is a very bright green, which is pretty, but like a little bit goes a long way sometimes. So yeah, here's what I've come up with so far. It looks okay. But now for the fun part. So I'm gonna take my watercolor paintbrush and I'm just gonna start activating the different colors. And just like that, everything sort of blends and becomes more seamless. You sort of lose all the lines and the white space if you shift your colors to kind of fill them, and it just looks like you are an amazing artist in the quickest time. Now in between colors, you can definitely wipe your brush off if you want, squeeze it to make sure that all of your excess color goes away. So you kind of squeeze it until it goes clear, and then you're ready to move on to the next color. But because all of these are sort of similar for the blues and greens, I'm not really worried. I kind of like the look of the blending. So yeah, it looks like I am a fantastic watercolor artist, or B, have some of the best pencil crayons / markers on the planet. But I'll just give you sort of a before and after. So here's my before, where it's all scribbly, and then after, it's just like nice and blended and just really, really pretty. So I'm gonna go in and do some pinks now, pinks and purples. And again, just by like scribbling, you can still blend the colors together and they look seamless. Like, it's so pretty. And look how fast I'm going. I did this in like 5 minutes and it looks like I could have taken hours. There's my yellow and oranges. Blend those out. Very pretty. Now, if I had my heat gun here and I was happy with this, I could obviously heat it up in between and then add some more colors. But I mean, some of these areas aren't too wet. So I'm gonna go in with some antique linen and just sort of add some more color down here. Ooh. And let's see. I don't know, I think that's pretty much it. And again, I can just blend it out in between. But yeah, really, really pretty. I wonder if there's a way to sort of... I hope Carol's not watching. I'm gonna take some shavings. This one is prized ribbon. Just gonna put them directly on the desk because it does wipe off, folks, don't worry. Spritz them down. I'm gonna get fired. Okay, and then I'm gonna pick up some color with my brush and I'm gonna see if I can flick. Now this is not a splatter brush, but I do want some paint splatters because I think it'll be really pretty. It's kind of working. Carol, I'm so sorry if you're watching. Look away. I need a marble workspace at home. But yeah, so that kind of worked. And now it looks even cooler. And then you could just fussy cut or add a sentiment or do whatever. Do whatever you want to jazz it up. But I promise you, it looks way better in person. I'll be posting photos afterwards just to share all of these with you guys as well. But yeah, that was cool. So fun to play. All right. Really quickly, I'm just going to grab a paper towel so I don't actually get myself fired. I will be right back, everybody. Oh no! Carol's popped in. Okay. Knowing me, I should have had this ready before the video, but there we go. Good as new. All right. So for my last really cool technique that I found with these guys, you can actually color directly on top of an embossing folder. And again, that's where that whole piece about control kind of comes in. This is the, what's it called? Imaginary Jungle embossing folder from All New. I left my actual embossing folder at home, but we do have some here at the store. We will have some here at the store tomorrow once I bring my box in. But yeah, it's a gorgeous little bird and sort of paradisey scene. And I thought this would be a really fun one to color. So all you do for this is you color directly on top. I like to go in some circular motions. I'm going to do like a yellow sort of bird. Maybe I'll do the whole background in a yellow. Again, I don't really care how it looks yet because I haven't blended it all out, but there's my sort of yellowy background. I'm thinking maybe some orange here on my bird for his wings and whatnot. I think that would be cute. Maybe a little bit orange. A little bit of orange here for the beak. Excellent. Obviously some pink flowers kind of scream tropical to me. So I'm just coloring directly on the embossing folder, no stencils needed, which is also cool if you have these gorgeous embossing folders at home and you don't have any coordinating stencils for them, because that's like a newer thing I find companies have been coming out with. You don't need them. You just need a pack of Distress watercolor pencils. Okay, those are pretty. And then for these other flowers, let's go with a nice dark blue. So this is really cool. It's sort of like, I don't know if you guys ever did arts and crafts when you were younger, where you're like rubbing over top of pennies and stuff to get the image, but that's kind of what this reminds me of. It's fun. And it's very easy to color because the surfaces are all kind of raised, so yeah, so far so good. Let's make this one blue here as well. Oh my gosh, I hope you guys can't hear me heavy breathing into the camera. I learned when I'm focused, I tend to heavy breathe, and it's it drives people crazy, but who knew? And then I think for the leaves, maybe I'm gonna go in with this cracked pistachio. I think it might be kind of a cool color to pull in. And then it'll hopefully blend nicely with the yellow that I just colored everywhere. I am using Neenah cardstock. I feel like you should probably be doing this with watercolor cardstock. Or better yet, my go-to is the Vicki Boutin's white foundations paper. we have more of that coming in. We are currently out of stock, and I think I gave my last couple sheets to Carol, so unfortunately I didn't have any to bring with me tonight for this project. And yeah, I came into this like so unprepared. My house lost internet. I forgot my heat gun at home. I forgot all of my like things that I used for show and tell at home. But yeah, so far so good. We're just doing the best we can with what we got. I got Nina. This is the 110 pound though. I did use a heavier weight. Or I tried. So this color here is the Twisted Citron. Sort of a nice, vibrant, jungly green color. And again, my coloring does not look perfect because the magic happens when you activate it with water. There we go. Almost done. All right. Let's see, I'm gonna need maybe some orange for these little dots. Guess it makes sense to color each one. Get the best look from them that way. And then I'll tie in my bird a little bit more as well. There we go. And then I feel like maybe a little bit more pink here in the background. So it's going to be sort of a watercolor-esque background, if you will. And I can always go in afterwards and add more colors to it if I want, maybe some blue, maybe some purple. We'll see how this starts to turn out once we kind of activate things. So I'm going to start with this blue, and I'm just going to use my watercolor brush here, sort of blend out my pencil, and there we go. So it's already starting to look more watercolory. It's been a really long day, guys. There we have it. Now I'm gonna activate some green. Oh, that's pretty. So yeah, how cool is this? I'm like stenciling without a stencil on my embossing folder. It's kind of fun. Very cool. There we go. Oh, I see comments. I am coloring, you're right, Carol. Thank you. Distress watercolor pencils. They're so fun. So, oh, got this one left. Gonna blend him out. Blend this one out. Okay, I think next I'm gonna go in and just sort of blend out my background. Maybe I'll combination background slash flowers, other flowers, because they have the pinks and the yellows. There we go. So it's all trial and error. It's a learning opportunity. Slow and steady. That's no fun. All right, and then I'm just gonna sort of add some water to activate these little dots here. My little beak, my bird. Ooh, the bird is so pretty. Very cool. Okay. So yeah, it's coming together. There's a little bit of blue on my page. Just gonna scoop it off. There we go. So I could go into the background if I wanted to add more color, and just sort of build it up in terms of layers that way. If you're feeling really brave, you could add some shavings and like spritz it, but I'm not feeling that brave anymore. And then I can go back in too and like highlight some areas that I've already colored. Just want to make these flowers a little bit more pink, for instance. A little bit more dynamic. And then I think my bird definitely needs an eyeball. So I'm gonna go in with the dark prize ribbon color here. But yeah, you kind of get the idea. And then another thing you can do with this is run it through, like align it with your embossing folder again and run it back through your machine. And it really crisps up your image. So here's one that I did before and I ran it back through my machine and it just kind of crisped it up for me, which was really fun. So that's everything. That's all the techniques that I sort of wanted to play around with for tonight's video. So just a refresher, we have like just drying and spritzing and moving it around and adding more drying and blending it out with a brush. We have dipping your crayons directly in water, coloring your stamp directly, and then with a brush sort of blending out the colors that way, your shaved backgrounds, and then your traditional sort of watercoloring coloring. So yeah, it was really fun to play with these guys. I hope to play around with them more, and maybe we'll do like a part 2 of this one day. But for the time being, I really appreciate you guys for joining me. I know you guys took time out of your day, and you're just the best. So thank you. I hope you learned something or feel inspired. And we will see you guys all next week. Stay tuned on Tuesday for another unboxing video. And before I go, Lawn Fawn is on sale, 35% off. Let's get it out of here. Okay, thanks, bye.